mandate. Let's turn to Congressman Mike Garcia, a Republican from California. Weird enough. No, there are places out there.
How you doing?
Good to see you. And Congressman Khanna, Democrat of California. Ro, I couldn't help but look into some of, finding out more and more about you. I know your dad went to Michigan. We're going to talk about the University of Michigan. We're going to talk about that. And, your support for this really violent game where there's a winner and a loser, which just doesn't seem like you. I don't know why. Why can't we tie? Why can't we tie and get a participation award in football? You seemed really happy about that Ohio State loss, which is not like you.
Well, it was after 8 times, I think. I mean, it was a great game. Did you watch the game?
Of course I did. I loved it. Knowing you as I do, I just am surprised that you like all this. I don't know. It's just one side loses, the other side wins. I would like to.
I would rather make sure everyone. I just want to make sure when they play football, everyone has a helmet and a jersey. I just want to make sure they got the basic equipment on the field.
You guys are going to need those after that. All right. I was going to wait till the end to talk to you about that, but I couldn't help it. Let's just define where we are right now. And I think, Congressman Garcia, you're just absolutely against, I'm sure, a universal government mandate for vaccines. But that has been posited lately, Congressman Khanna. Are you for, not just for businesses, but are you for the United States government mandating, and they're talking about it in Europe, possibly doing that, mandating vaccines for everyone and, I don't know, helping the military actually orchestrate that?
No, I'm not for going beyond the president's order. The president's order is pretty clear that businesses can either have vaccines for everyone or, and this is the key part, or you could have testing. And, I actually respect Representative Garcia had a bill that he said you should use vaccines that aren't being used. So he's obviously agreed that there is a value to these vaccines, which I applaud. And every American, regardless of where we are in the mandate, should agree that people should get vaccinated. That should be the key message.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say, Congressman, and we'll get to Congressman Garcia, I think you got elected by Silicon Valley because you were such a good lawyer for their interests. And now I don't understand the whole anti-billionaire sentiment coming from you. You're biting the hand that fed you. Am I wrong on that?
I'm still getting elected. We'll see after the show. But, the reality is I'm all for the creation of wealth. I love the entrepreneurs.
You just want to tax the hell out of it. You just want to tax the hell out of it with a wealth tax.
Well, but look, we're a low tax country comparatively, and 93% of billionaire wealth is in the United States. It's still the best place to invest. We've got the best entrepreneurship. I don't think people are going to leave this country. I'm all for people making money.
They might leave your state, and they are.
Joe, you know what the market cap in my area is? $11 trillion of wealth. We have the most wealth generation probably anywhere in human history. Apple, Google, Intel, Yahoo, Cisco.
I love it.
I'm fine with Silicon Valley. We got to give more opportunity to other parts of the country.
Okay, Congressman Garcia, that's not as far as I expected Roe to go. They obviously companies can say you either get vaccinated or get tested or pick your poison. You got to do something to make sure we do as much as we can here, right?
Yeah, we've got to do what we can to mitigate the risk, but we've seen that mandates don't work. There's 2 fundamental things that we know about the mandates. A, they don't work as intended, and B, they're unconstitutional, and that's being proved out with OSHA and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals now stopping Biden's vaccine mandate. So look, what the federal government needs to be doing right now is figuring out how to enable businesses, small businesses, large businesses, and taxpayers to get back to work and to continue to grow so they get confidence and reinvest in their companies. If they can't figure out how to do that by doing things like shifting left on the Laffer curve, lowering taxes for taxpayers, then they need to just get out of the way and let the system continue to flourish and hopefully get back on its feet through natural open capitalism. The irony of my colleague's statement is that people are leaving California in droves right now because of policies like this and other policies that are frankly squashing businesses. I'm glad his district is thriving on the back of Silicon Valley business, but the rest of California, especially the blue-collar workers, are suffering. We're seeing $5.50 gas right now. The federal government needs to do its job, get out of the way of this market, secure our southern borders, hold China accountable, start tackling our debt, pass a budget, that's a novel idea, and actually start implementing some conservative, fiscal conservative policies here that actually will get the country back online. We were hitting on 8 cylinders before the pandemic hit us. We were cruising, doing 40 knots through the water, right, and then all of a sudden the ship came to a screeching halt because of the pandemic. And as we're starting to accelerate again, now there's folks calling for vaccine mandates, mask mandates, and these are massive anchors that are just going to cripple businesses, especially small businesses, as well as the employees.
Congressman, what I don't understand about this is if we want to get the economy back up and running, and we've seen the stock market, to the extent you believe it's a barometer of anything, has come off in part because now we have this new variant. If we can get everybody vaccinated, it's not, I don't want to say it's a panacea, but it would be a lot better. And there's nothing in the Constitution that says that you have the right to give me COVID or anything else. And so I don't understand this argument about freedoms. And on the other side of it, we're going to pay for it anyway. More than 40% of Americans are effectively insured by the government. Taxpayers are paying, Medicare and Medicaid paying for all of this. So there's an actual health care cost, and then there's an economic cost. And so I'm not sure. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to advocate for more people to.
Let's remember, right, the Constitution does still exist. Despite the headwinds that we've had in the last 2 years and the encroachments on the Constitution, it still does exist. So that we do have rights. It's the First Amendment, the 10th Amendment protecting us against federal mandates like this, the 14th Amendment.
The reality is, Joe, my mother. The rights are that you can't. The right is that I'm
not killing her mother. And if she has the vaccine, those risks are mitigated. And we're seeing that in most likely cases, your mother will not die if she's vaccinated. That's the point of the vaccine. Look, if you mandate something, there's going to be 10 to 20% of our population that will not get the vaccine because of that mandate. I'm vaccinated. I believe the vaccine works, as Mr. Khanna pointed out. But the reality is that there's a big chunk of our population that as soon as the federal government tells them to do something, they will not do it. And if we turn a blind eye and pretend like those unintended consequences don't exist, we'll continue to see this problem get aggravated. We need to allow people to have the choice. We need to allow people to have access. We need to make it affordable, which we have. We've made it accessible, which we have through Operation Warp Speed.
As long as 20% of Americans are deciding that they're not going to get vaccinated, we're going to continue to have new variants that are going to emerge, and we're going to be living with this in ways that I don't think people understand or understand the costs, both the health costs and the economic ones.
The reality is we can have 100% vaccination and we'll still be in those scenarios. This is why we have to hold China accountable. This is what gain-of-function technology does in these viral and biological weapons. We've got to hold them accountable. We've got to figure out the source of this and not allow this to happen again. But what we can't do is continue to allow this to cripple our entire nation, our economy. We've got to figure out how to mitigate the risk, get as many people vaccinated as we can, but not encroach on the Constitution. And we've got to stop weaponizing this virus as a weapon and a tool to erode and encroach upon our constitutional rights. This is still the United States of America. And while this president is mandating vaccines for people traveling into the country via commercial air, I'm wondering if he's applying that same rationale to 185,000 illegal immigrants who are coming across our southern border on a monthly basis. I don't think he is, and that's where the real risk is, Joe.
Do you believe? Hold on. One question.
I'm going back to Congressman Khanna. Congressman Khanna, do you think the government has the right to mandate a jab for someone that is opposed to it for whatever reason?
Yes, if they give an alternative, which is testing, and that's what people need to realize.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a mandatory jab for everyone.
I haven't come out for that. That's not the president's policy.
Why not, though? I always call you like a member of the squad. I think you're not that there's anything wrong with that.
I respect it, but I'm a progressive capitalist.
They all are, Joe.
And just on California, I got to defend California. California has had more economic growth than any state, more job creation. Our economic growth actually has been only behind China in terms of the jobs that are being created.
We deserve to be we deserve twice as much as we've experienced. We could be so much better if we just allowed the free market to work and incentivize small businesses and taxpayers to stay in California. It would be a glorious
or
state.
if we just all
we just got to remove some of the politicians.
Vaccinated and en masse. That's why President Biden got elected, and he accepted the nomination, saying let's wear masks. I mean,
Congressman
simple
Garcia,
things, common sense.
Congressman Khanna, thank you. I think Michigan. I'm hoping that they get in that playoff.